are never going to be doing characters in this class. We are doing you in the situation of the play. You put yourself in the situation and say, why am I doing these things?
Michael Shurtleff is said to have invented the position of casting director on Broadway. His unique eye for talent led to career-launching vehicles for Barbra Streisand, Elliott Gould, Dustin Hoffman, Christopher Walken, Ben Vereen, Robert Duvall, and Gene Hackman. His years of experience casting for the stage and films culminated in the publishing of his landmark book, Audition, which has since become the focus of his current teaching endeavors. Today, as a teacher, author, and playwright, Michael travels the globe, still influencing a new generation of actors.
All of these guideposts here are ways to fulfill creating the relationship. And there are specific ways of going about creating relationship. And game playing and role playing are just one aspect of relationship. So, and then all of these things overlap. They all stem, the basic stem of everything you ever do is a relationship to somebody else in acting. And these are all just ways to go about creating relationships and being very specific about what they are. So the answers you want to give to all these things is specific things, specific actions that will communicate to the other person what it is you are asking for and giving in the relationship. Remember, you don't get anything you ask for unless you give. And people are always getting up there and doing, this is what I want and I demand this, and they're not giving anything for it, so they're not going to get anything back. So, learn to give what you're asking for. That's how you may get it. Okay, a lot of this as we go along we'll be able to illustrate from what people are doing. Some of this is going to seem rather abstract at the moment. If you can just get the concept today, and then we begin applying it, you'll see more what I mean. I'm perfectly willing to explain, but sometimes explanations aren't sufficient without illustrations.
But I foiled him. I waited until he went upstairs to die. And then I came down and dug the bags up.
Where's the money?
In the casket. Where else would you hide it?
But it will be buried with him.
Yes, it will be buried. That's exactly what we want. But not with him. There wasn't enough room for him and all the money. Look.
More money? More money? I find that in a rehearsal process, you know, when you have a week, you're doing your lines, you're doing your actions, you're doing your improvs, and then you finally get it to a stage where, you know, it's starting to cook, and yes, if you add another couple of rehearsals, then you get the ping pong, you get the personalized action in there, and whatever else you said.
All of this on your own.
Yes,
If
yes,
you're
you
working
can.
for television or film, you don't
True.
have time
Okay.
for another rehearsal. You have to do it right now. When the lights are ready, you have to be ready.
True.
So you have to train yourself to do that. You're all being spoiled by stage.
You don't need more time to make a story. You don't need more time to
Yeah. No, what I'm saying, like we did a whole bunch of wild improvs, very physical improvs, and, you know, we got a few fun actions going, and certainly, if we just had another maybe, I'm not going to make excuses, but if I had another day or two to rehearsal.
I'll bet you didn't do ping pong in the rehearsals.
We did football pong.
Yes, but that doesn't take time. That just takes work on your own.
Of course.
You got to keep remembering that you can do so much on your own. And that's one of the things I'm here to emphasize, is that you must learn to do half of this on your own. You won't have this rehearsal time. And if you do, then you just enrich it and make it more personal, and you're further ahead.
Yes.
But there's so much you can do by yourself if you would just do it by yourself. But you always think, I must have my partner. And you think about it, but you don't do it at home. Comedy is based on immediate response. You put his lines on a tape recorder, and then you respond at once to his lines until you get used to responding to his lines with your lines, which are not on the tape recorder. You leave space for your lines. And this is how you play ping pong with your partner when he's not there. So by the time you get there, boom, 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 you're responding to everything. You don't have to think about a thing.
I was gapping up there. I was gapping on my lines up there.
Gapping on your line.
Yeah.
Why don't you put in an action? God does not help those who do not act themselves. Whenever you forget a line, go and do something to him. And maybe he'll say his line, and we'll never miss yours. Yeah. Okay, let us add a question to be asked at the final rehearsal. Where is the affectionate and warm and tender part of love in this scene? Right. And then add that.
Excellent. Yeah.
That's all.
Perfect.
We don't have to make it complicated. We can just simply remember to ask that question. I will tell you a love story. You all know a store called Bloomingdale's? I used to live near Bloomingdale's. In order to get to the subway, I could either go around Bloomingdale's to the subway or walk through the men's department. And I'm crazy about clothes, so I would always walk through the men's department to see what $1,000 sweaters had arrived that day. Well, so I walked through one day, and in the glove department, there was a case of gloves there, and there was a pair of gloves this color. And I thought, I've never seen men's gloves this color. I would love to have that. So I said, may I see that fascinating pair of blue gloves? Oh, they won't fit you. I said, how do you know? We haven't figured out what my hand size is. I know, they won't fit you. I said, I'd like to see them anyway. There's no point in your seeing them anyway. I don't care if there's any point. I want to see the blue gloves. Well, I'm not going to take them out of the case. It's ridiculous. It's a waste of time. I said, it may be a waste of your time, but your time is here to be wasted. And if I'm willing to waste my time, let me look at the blue gloves. This is ridiculous, and you're getting hysterical, sir. Why don't you just go and buy something somewhere else? And I said, I'm going to have those blue gloves, or I'm going to have your neck. Give me those blue gloves. You're raising your voice. I said, I'm going to raise more than that if you don't give me those blue gloves. No blue gloves. So I began to pick up gloves and throwing those. I threw gloves at him. And I said, now you're going to give me the blue gloves. And he was going, manager, manager, manager. I said, coward, you can't even fight your own battle. Finally, the manager said, sir, if you'll just calm down. Yes, I'll be happy to. If I can have the blue gloves. So he handed me the blue gloves, and I bought them. And I went home, and they didn't fit. Nevertheless, I still have them. Because I won the fight. Why is this a love story? I deserve to be treated lovingly, not like a piece of shit. And that's why I went on fighting. The gloves became tertiary, secondary, fifthary. It was the relationship that this man had created this non-giving, non-loving relationship that infuriated me. And I think it's what hurts us a lot is when we feel we are deserving of loving treatment. We call it respect, I call it love. That we revolt. And we want to do something about it because we deserve it. Unlike life, you're going to look for conflict in scenes. Unlike life, you're going to look for confrontations. In life, we try to avoid conflict, we try to avoid confrontations. We'll do anything to avoid a confrontation. Drama is written, scripts are written about the need to confront. And therefore, you need to have such a strong thing that you're fighting for. It should be of life and death importance to you every time you go for an audition and every scene you do. Nothing else will be sufficient. If I don't get this, I will die. If you don't give me that, I will kill you. Now, there's a tendency, particularly when you audition and even when you perform, to find one way to go about what you're fighting for. So keep looking for as many different ways as you can to go about what you're fighting for. I suggest this to you. Write down what you are fighting for. Now, the answer to what you are fighting for should be the answer to this question. What would I want from this person if I could have anything in the world that I need? Now, obviously, there is fantasy right away. Now, in friendship scenes, particularly between two women friendship scenes are ranked just below monologues as the dullest and most unbearable scenes to watch. Except they're not going to be in this class I'm going to show you. Because women are raised to pretend they all love each other and they never fight and so forth. And women aren't so bad nowadays as they used to be, but there's still a great hangover from this being raised that a lady doesn't raise her voice and doesn't fight.
You must be under some slight misconception. Ernest proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
It is certainly very curious, for he asked me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at 5:30. If you would care to verify the incident, pray do so. I never leave home without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read on the train. I'm so sorry, dear Cecily, if it is any disappointment to you. But I'm afraid I have the prior claim.
Why was Gail more effective than Nahani? Philip.
Gail seemed to have something that she was fighting for, and something that was much stronger than Nahani's objective.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
What were you fighting for?
Well, at first I was fighting to be friends with her because I don't have anybody to talk. I have no friends, and I'm alone in the country, and I'm about to get married.
Now, did you change what you were fighting for?
And then I changed it because I was fighting to be the most attractive woman, to be the winner of Ernest.
Okay.
I was fighting for Ernest.
What you're fighting for does not change in the scene. It is a constant. What you are talking about are different ways of going about what you're fighting for. The strongest thing to fight for is, my rival. Mm-hmm. I'm going to outdo her if I have to kill her in the country and bury her under the tulips. The reason I use the term, what are you fighting for, is because those other terms you use, objectives, Tell me what they are. Huh? Yeah. Motivation. What? Intention. Beats. Goals. Wants, etc. I find that the word for is the operative word, and fight. Because there'll be a scene in which a man is saying, I'm leaving you. I am no longer in love with you, etc., etc. So I say to him, what do you want in this scene? He said, I want to get out of here. And I said, but you're still here. If you wanted to get out, you'd leave a note saying, Dear Myrna, it's over.
I can't take on more rejection.
If you're still there, you still want something. So you're still fighting for something. So get into your head, those other terms are fine, I'm not objecting to them. Add the stronger concept of what you're fighting for. The moment before is a term I use. I understand Uta Hagen writes, you have to write a 15-page biography of your character. Jesus. The history of what has preceded the relationship, you must find out through improv. Because it's going to be the history of your relationship, not the one you think the play is telling you about. And that's where improv is enormously successful in establishing what went on before the scene that we're going to do. Now, I say the moment before because out of the history of the past relationship must come a moment that propels you into the scene as if you're shot out of a cannonball, into the scene to go after what you're fighting for at once. And it requires an action. It can't be up here. It can't be inside. It must be an action. You go on stage to do something to somebody to get what you need, or to give them something to give them what they need. You know how when you meet somebody and they put their dead fish in your hand and you shake that, and for days afterwards you feel slimy? Well, that's how most of you do begin an audition. You creep into it, hoping nobody notices you're there, because you think that you have to build to a grand and glorious climax. The auditors are sitting there waiting for the next person to walk on and be the one. And slowly starts to do something, and they think, okay, who's next? Did my wife send the divorce papers over? Can we get coffee? I'm hungry. I lost my pencil. You'll find they're under the seats half of the time. You got to keep going. They're always looking for something under the seats. So, a strong beginning is absolutely essential. People judge by the beginning rather than the end of an audition. So, start strong. This doesn't mean it has to be aggressive. It means a commitment to a strong action to accomplish what you're fighting for, and the opposite, to give the other person what they need. The script will frequently not help you with what the moment before is. It's when you provide yourself out of your own life that will get you into the scene. And keep thinking of it as being shot into the scene, not wandering in like little mice. Because their first impression of you is the most important one. And a little mouse crawling on, they lose interest at once. You watch as you see things that you're going to lose interest in scenes that are that way. So, start strong. We've already talked about the fact there's always more places to go. So don't be afraid that a strong beginning. See, then you follow a strong beginning up with an opposite, and you're home. Mickey. That was fabulous.
Stop it, Rudy. I was sick. I was weak. I made no decisions.
Stand up and do it again. Stand up and do it again. Do the pose. No! I can't.
You said it was weak. Oh, you could have done this on your day off, Rudy, and you know it.
Yeah.
I thought they had great moments before, because it's nice to see when you do an improv scene. It's nice to see when you do an improv scene that you know what place that they're in, because you knew that they were in his change room and he was putting on his makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it made the scene all the more better.
Now, what you're talking about is a great moment before that established place immediately.
Yeah.
So you don't have to sit there and wonder, where is this happening? But so often in scenes we think, where are they? And they establish immediately where they were. And you must think of that about place as establishing in some way immediately where you are, so that the audience doesn't wonder halfway through. Because then it takes the audience off of what you want them to be concentrating on while they're worrying about where are you. Because if they don't know where you are, they don't quite know what's going on. And they were so definite and specific about that. The beginning should be so strong that it carries you all the way through the scene. What you're fighting for does not change within a scene. You don't fight for something in this section, and something in this section, and something in that section. It's the same thing you're fighting for. When you find that there are several things that you're fighting for, it means those are the ways in which you're fighting for, and you haven't yet found the basis on which all those 5 things are based. So you look for the base thing that you're fighting for, and then these other things that you think you're fighting for are just ways of going about what you're fighting for. And remember, the answer to what you're fighting for is what would I want if I could have anything I wanted from my friend, my lover, whoever the other person is in the scene.
And also remember, whenever you have a situation like this, Louise, one turns the attack into a game, right, in order to get away with it.
Oh, you
So-
can let me do it.
So you can slam right into it. And, you know, people tear you to pieces and you're in tears and they say, I'm just kidding. Well, that's the game we play all the time. Only I think we should leave out the I'm just kidding part and just go ahead and do it. Because every time people tell me they're kidding, it's real. And they just don't want to be caught with it. But it's the way we get away with it, is to turn it into a game. So I thought the competitive game should have much higher stakes for you, just in terms of wins and losses.
Okay. Acting problems?
Okay,
Acting problems? No, you just tell
you
us.
tell me.
Okay. What is Louise Kidney's biggest acting problem?
You tell me first, then I tell you.
Okay, I think it's probably the confidence to really go for it. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. What will make you confident?
Saying that I won't make it if I stay like this. Yeah.
Your problem is that you try to protect yourself from the possibility of being wrong. To hell with being wrong. All right, just do it. Just think about yourself of jumping off a diving board, real high diving board you've never dove off before. And somebody has dared you. And then you just use that in your moment before. Someone just dared me to jump off that board. I don't even know if there's water in that pool. I'm going to jump. And you got to figure out what you're protecting yourself from. Usually one doesn't even know what that is. It's what they think that you're protecting yourself from. So you really have to psych yourself up and stop worrying about them and worry about what's going on between the two of you. And the stronger you make anything that's going on between the two of you, the better it's going to be. We're talking about things you can do something about. That's their problem.
Problem with lines.
And
Now, you're working on a production of 12th Night, right? And that consumes you. What are you going to do when you get into the real world? When you are handed a script at 7 o'clock at night, which has 7 pages that you have to learn and be on the set at 4 in the morning?
You learn them.
Well, why didn't you?
I did.
You? Yeah, why didn't you?
I was learning them, and I panicked this morning, and things just kind of floated away out of my head, and I was trying to regain it.
Why did you panic?
I don't know. I got.
No, we never. I don't know is never an answer to anything. Will do you no good to go through life saying I don't know. What do you know?
Because you were coming. Because Michael Shurtleff was coming.
Because I was coming. What did you think I was going to do to you?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe hang me from the rafters.
I ask you this, not facetiously.
No, I know.
But very seriously, because what you need to do about what you're afraid of is define it. You can never handle fear until you define what it is you're afraid of. And most people go through life being afraid and never knowing what they're afraid of. And you're one of them, right?
No, not
Well, you are. You just did. I don't think I'm a tough teacher, but I understand that many people think I am a tough teacher. Sometimes students call my house and ask for Michael Shurtleff, and I say, he's not here. Can I help you? And they say, well, I'd like to know, is he a tough teacher? And I say, no, he's not tough. His bark is worse than his bite. But what he requires is great discipline and enormous commitment, and that you be on time. None of this California late stuff. But he's not tough. She's really very, very constructive about your work. They don't know that it's me.
All the things that I was so afraid of are really not worth being afraid of. Even tonight, what Michael was saying about, why are you worried about that? Because I can't do anything about it. I can't change it. All I can do is what I can do. I think that's really been important for me to learn, because I've always been very protective